Hi, good day to all of you. My name is Loving Sun. We see you again. Today we are going to talk about an issue which I think has been appearing in the local press headline for several days, some even more than 1 week. That is the assassinations of Kim Jong-nam in KIA 2 not too long ago. And if you follow the development of the cases, it has become another diplomatic fiasco or diplomatic spat between Malaysia and North Korea, in which the North Korean ambassador has accused the Malaysian authority of violating human rights, and the Malaysian authority has responded and rebutted the allegations by the North Korean authority, citing that such allegation is not true and it is humiliations on the part of the Malaysian authority. Well, although it has become kind of international spat or diplomatic spat between North Korea and Malaysia, but if you really look at international law and international laws provisions governing diplomatic relations between one country and another country, such diplomatic spat has actually got no bearing on each other. What the North Korean ambassador accused of Malaysia will not be having any impact on the investigations carried out by the Malaysian authority, notably the police department, and of course the rebuttal by the Malaysian authority will not also have any impact on the part of the North Korean and its embassy in Kuala Lumpur. But the investigations, as revealed by the Malaysian authority, has today revealed that North Korean nationals believed to be an embassy staff of the North Korean embassy in Kuala Lumpur could be a suspect to the assassinations. We are not sure whether the police is going to tell us whether the suspect is now hiding in the embassy or not. There are also news that the suspect has already left Malaysia for North Korea. So this is something that is very interesting. But in any way, maybe it is the purpose of me in this video to sort of inform the viewer that Malaysia and North Korea are both signatories to the Vienna Conventions on Diplomatic Relations, and even for Malaysia, we even enacted an act of parliament that incorporates most of the provisions in the Vienna Conventions on Diplomatic Relations in the act, in which there are certain provisions in this act which are meant to safeguard the diplomatic interests of any foreign missionaries in Malaysia, including the North Korean embassy. There's one case, there are several cases actually, which is very interesting. What I think the Malaysian authority needs to be cautious. Of course, there are a lot of things that they need to answer. One is, of course, the security level of KIA2, and number two, how the video footage or the CCTV recording of the video footage can be leaked out to a foreign media and not to the Malaysian media, even if it were to be leaked out, or if it were meant to be disclosed to the public. Now, one more question here that I think, one more issues rather that I think the Malaysian authority needs to pay attention is there could be a possibility by the North Korean authority or embassy in Kuala Lumpur hiding important witnesses or suspects involved in this case. And there are a lot of precedents before. I'm not talking about North Korea, not even talking about any foreign embassies in Malaysia. If you study international law, you will definitely hear how some of these states, some of these rogue states, violate or abuse the diplomatic immunity provisions in the Vienna Conventions to protect the self-interest. There's this case of Umaro Tiko. Umaro Tiko was a political descent from Nigeria in the 1980s, which is based in London. There was one day when he was drugged and dumped in a crate addressed to the Ministry of External Affairs of Nigeria. The suspect, it was widely suspected that he was struck by a secret agent from Nigeria. So he was drugged, he felt unconscious, and he was put in a diplomatic bag. And this is a bag that this is a bag. They will label it as a diplomatic bag, and embassies will, or staff's embassies will put in some of the most secretive and important documents or items in a diplomatic bag, and this bag enjoy diplomatic immunity in the sense that it will not be opened. It cannot be opened by any authority except by the owner. It needs not going. It is not going through security scan. So this gentleman named Umar Tiko, a political descent from Nigeria in the 1980s, based in London, he was struck by a Nigerian agent, and he was put in a bag addressed to the Ministry of External Affairs of Nigeria. And on the day that he was prepared to be what do you call it, sent back to Nigeria, there was a charter airline from Nigeria arriving at London, ready to pick up this diplomatic bag. But because it was not properly labeled, and therefore it was open, and the whole kidnap was unfold. This was the case of Umar Tiko. There was also another case, the Libyan People's Bureau Embassy in London incident. One fine day, there was actually a riot outside the Nigerian embassy in London. All of a sudden, there were several gunshots firing from the Nigerian embassy into the crowd, and an English policewoman was killed. The English authority was very furious, and they want to search the embassy, but of course the embassy enjoys diplomatic immunity. The local police and enforcement are not allowed to enter the embassy without prior consent from the ambassador or the staff of the embassy. So the English authority wanted to investigate, wanted to do a search, but they were not allowed to enter. And not so soon after that, they were found. There were 4 large canvas bags with diplomatic seals being taken up from the embassy. It was widely speculated then that these 4 large canvas bags contain the weapons that fire the shots at the crowd, and which one of it has killed the policewoman on duty on that day. But unfortunately, they cannot do anything because it was labeled as diplomatic seals, with diplomatic seals as diplomatic bag. So if you take from these 2 examples, the case of Maratiko and the case of Libyan People's Bureau, I'm sorry, I'm talking about Libya, this is Libya, not Nigeria. It is very easy for you to relate between these 2 cases and the incidents that we are dealing now with North Korea, in the case of the assassinations of Kim Jong-nam. The suspects or evidence, important suspects or evidence in this case could be hiding or available at the embassies of North Korea in Kuala Lumpur. The difficulty that the Malaysian police is facing now is they are not allowed to enter the surrounding or the building or the compound of the embassy, even with a search warrant, because they are not supposed to enter the embassy without prior approval from the ambassador, because the structures and the compound of the embassy is regarded as a foreign territory and is protected by the Vienna Conventions on Diplomatic Relations. There could be also items of evidence or stuff which are important to these investigations. And unfortunately, if these documents are properly sealed and labeled in a diplomatic bag, and transfer out of the embassy back to North Korea, there is no way that the Malaysian authority can capture these documents. There is also no way that the Malaysians can check whether these documents are really stored and kept inside a diplomatic bag or not, because it's not going to go through any security screening or scanning. So we have a difficulty here. Unless you do what the Englishmen did in the case of Umar Atiko, or in the case of Libyan People's Bureau, whereby before they can do anything, the receiving countries, in this case Malaysia, the Malaysia authority, cut off the diplomatic ties with North Korea. So when you do not have any diplomatic relations with North Korea, then their diplomats and ambassadors, as well as their embassies in Malaysia, may not be protected by the Vienna Conventions on Diplomatic Relations. And when they are not protected, then the embassy, the ambassador, the staffs will be declared as persona non grata. Persona non grata means this is persons that we do not welcome, and the Malaysian authority may have the power to search the building, to search the embassy, and to arrest the persons or suspects who are involved in this case, in these assassinations, and may be helpful in the Malaysian authority to find out the real culprit of the assassinations. Now the problem now is whether the Malaysian authority is prepared to cut off ties with North Korea or not. This is a very tricky question. Malaysia has never done such thing. Malaysia has never taken such a drastic actions against such countries in the past. So it remains to be a very tricky issues or questions to be explored, to be dealt with in days to come. If Malaysia will cut off the diplomatic ties with North Korea, because in the end, if the Malaysian police have strong evidence showing that the North Korean embassy is fully involved and the suspect could be hiding inside the compound of the embassy, then and they are protected by the Vienna Conventions on Diplomatic Relations, in which the Malaysian authority will have no power to arrest or capture any document or any persons involved, then perhaps cutting off the ties with North Korea is the only things that can be done in order to capture the real culprit, or in order to obtain information that can bring us more breakthroughs into the investigations, or bring us more leads in the investigations of this case. So let's see what will happen in days to come. That's my analysis, and I hope the Malaysian authority to be paying full attention to what the North Korean embassy are doing now in Kuala Lumpur, and we must pay full attention to avoid them from abusing whatever diplomatic immunities that they are currently enjoying. So thank you for watching. See you.